Goodness. It is bright out there. Wow, hold on just a second. Let me see if maybe this will help a little bit. Good. Okay, I can see you. Please be seated. Good. You know, I look out there and it's as if each one of you is a walking, talking, living, breathing light bulb. And to look directly upon this gathering of people who believe in Jesus or who want to believe in Jesus, who look to Him as a way to live together, as the one who shapes and guides our lives, who trusts that the Spirit of God is somehow at work within us and within the world, well, that makes for a very bright expression of a community of faith and of hope indeed. No wonder today I need my sunglasses. There is light all over us this morning. Light pouring out even from the Holy Scriptures, illuminating our way and calling us to continue walking in it if we would but just open our eyes to see what is happening. Remember in the reading from the Hebrew Scriptures, "Give me a double portion of your Spirit," Elijah asked his prophet protege Elisha. And there is but one thing that Elisha must do. "If you see me as I'm being taken away from you, Elisha, it will be granted you," says Elijah. "But if not, it will not." It's like he's saying, Elisha, you have to see the light. And see, Elisha does, as chariots and horses of blinding flame whisk his master into heaven and away from his sight. Elisha sees, and so he carries on the faith, a walking, talking, living, breathing light bulb. No matter how humble the Apostle Paul might intend to be, he still has the holy audacity to tell the Christians in Corinth that the light emanating from him, the light that is shining in his heart, is the very light spoken into being by the God of all creation. I mean, that's pretty bold, don't you think? The light from the very beginning when God first proclaims, "Let light shine out of darkness," is that same light shining in and through him. Well, I believe it was so. I believe it is so, and that Paul is a walking, talking, living, breathing light bulb of faith. There is plenty of light on that day that Jesus' transfiguration happens on that mountaintop. I bet Peter and James and John would wish they had something like these sunglasses back on that day. Jesus shines with a light and a brightness the Bible calls dazzling. Such white light as cannot be manufactured by anything on earth. And for a few moments, those men catch a glimpse of the walking, talking, living, breathing light bulb. The origin of light, the source of all the light still to come. Maybe in that moment it's just a little too bright to last up there more than a little while. The disciples think they want to set up shop on the mountain to bask forever in that light and glory. But there's other work to accomplish first before everyone has the chance to see that dazzling light. So the clouds descend, the brightness fades away, Jesus' heavenly visitors are no longer visible, and it's time to head down the mountain. And then this, "Tell no one what you have seen," says Jesus to his companions. And I think, well, maybe it's because the glory they have seen will only make sense in the light of Jesus' resurrection. When Jesus has come to be with them again, dwelling with them in spirit and in truth, despite his death on a Roman cross, oh, then the light bulbs start to come on. Now we see who you are, Jesus. It's getting brighter all the time. But I suppose that if one can see the light, we might also say that it's possible for one to see the darkness as well. We can look out on the world and take notice of those places where absolute pain and grief and destruction and injustice and hatred abound. We each have our moments in life when doubt or despair or loss or grief throw shade upon what once seemed to be an entirely bright and hopeful day. And I imagine then a veil is cast over our sight, the veil like that of which Paul speaks in his letter, the veil that dampens the light of good news in the world and casts an all too believable shadow over what might otherwise reflect the light of goodness. sometimes it's so dark as to make it hard to believe in the light. But that goodness is still out there, folks, because the light is still out there. The walking, talking, living, breathing light bulbs of faith are still out there, even if assailed by the shadows that want nothing to do with so much light. That is one reason I feel it's so important that the walking, talking, living, breathing light bulbs of faith shine in this place, in our lives, and in our times. Somebody needs to be that light because someone needs to see that light. Sometimes it's us who sorely need to see that light. And to know that others are there, trying to shine in the darkness, trying to shine out to us, sometimes through our own darkness, that gives me hope that the veil can be lifted and light can flood once again into our eyes and into the world, and we will be able to see it. We can handle seeing it. For it is the God who said, "Let light shine out of darkness." It is that God who is shown in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. I mean, no wonder I need these sunglasses. It's God's light that is burning within us. A light, we might say, that's been moving toward us now for billions of years. A light destined within creation to be seen by its creatures, and ever so slowly to be beheld for what it truly is. A light that is not solely an experience of charged photon particles falling on nerve receptors and our ocular orbs. It's our eyeballs, right? But a light that also energizes what we call the Spirit. A light that stimulates a sense of meaning and purpose and being and faith. Paul gets it right, folks. God is revealed in these walking, talking, living, breathing light bulbs that are us. We each catch glimpses of that audacious knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus our Lord. And when we do that, we glow. Sometimes brightly, maybe sometimes more dimly, but the light is shining from us. Like Elisha, we just have to open our eyes so that we can see that light. So, I'm going to take off these sunglasses. Wow, I'm taking off the sunglasses. You guys know the song. I want to walk as a child of the light. I want to see with Elijah and Elisha, with Paul and Peter and James and John, with Jesus and with all of you. And by the grace of God, we can become those walking, talking, living, breathing sources of God's light together, ourselves transfigured, changed by and for the glory of God, and a sign of hope for each other and for this world. Good job.